The Ashes. If Viv is the person who most stands for all I believe to be good in cricket, then the Ashes is the contest that most explains what the game means to me and why its status in the game should never be taken lightly. The summer of 1981 changed my life. The cricket, the royal wedding, we had the miners' strike, living in the north of England, it was very apparent. The race riots, driving into Bristol when St. Paul's was on fire. Margaret Thatcher under the cosh. But what the whole country got behind was the cricket team, because England wanted a winner. And the England team pulled it off against all the odds. Yes, I became synonymous with that series, Botham's Ashes, but of course, they're not my Ashes, not close. The Ashes belong to all of us, the players of that series and of any other series, and to the people of our two proud countries. Gat, your president, is the urn really too fragile to travel between countries? I always believed that the side that has won the Ashes should have the Ashes on display in their country, and I think if that could be achieved, I think it would make them even more valuable. So I've slipped the ball inside, Gat. To an Englishman, beating Australia is the best thing in sport. And the same thing applies in reverse to the Australians, with bells on. I played Shield cricket for Queensland for a season, and believe me, the Aussies ate to beat England. They regard it as compulsory, a given. And it's great that they care that much, because beating them is even better because of it. The Ashes bring out the emotion, and from it comes everybody's involvement. Millions over both lands, want to be part of it. The best example of this in recent times is England in 2005, when after 16 years of hurt, England turned it around and Freddie was a hero. The whole country was glued to the matches. The kids were playing the game wherever you looked. So passion is my #1 reason why the Ashes matter. It inspires kids to play in parks, paint wickets on garage doors. This is what a winning England team in any sport can do, inspire. The others are comradeship and a collection of achievements that can define you and your career. At a time when T20 threatens to take over the game, Ashes matches are an important standard for Test cricket. Their history, their records, the excitement, the personalities, the way in which the public becomes involved, the TV rights, the live crowds. All this, and it's just a little old urn. We should beware of overkill of T20. When T20 began, we played the tournament in a three-week burst, and it worked. Since then, we have played more and more of it, and guess what? The crowds haven't got bigger. The county championship needs space to breathe. Let's not crowd our calendar with an overkill of T20. And while I'm on T20, I'm worried about the IPL. In fact, I fear it shouldn't be there at all, as it is changing the priorities of world cricket. Players are slaves to it. Administrators bow to it. How on earth did the IPL own the best players in the world for 2 months a year and not pay a penny to the boards who brought these players into the game? I know this has been modified to a degree, but it is still an imbalance. The IPL is too powerful for the long-term good of the game. Corruption is enough of a problem in itself, but the IPL compounds that problem, given it provides the perfect opportunity for betting and therefore fixing. We have seen a few players exposed, but does throwing the odd second 11 player into jail solve it? I'll leave you with one thought. To kill the serpent, you must cut off its head. The ICC Anti-Corruption Unit must pursue the root of the problem and, if necessary, expose the big names. Cricket, reflections. My reflections on the game. Cricket has given me so much. I played in the age of the all-rounder, Kapil Dev, Richard Hadley, Imran Khan and myself. If ever cricket told you that it had a place for everyone, it was then. Think how different we all are. Proof that cricket is for all people from all corners of the world. Hell-raising, dope, the ban, even that bloke Tim Hudson who put me in that jazz-up blazer. Remember that multicoloured blazer? And said I could be a Hollywood star. Hardly. Did anyone see me in Panto? Yes, I was a renegade. But I did all right in the end. I was a free spirit, and I would never knock that in any other person. The importance of using fame and profile to kick ass, as my grandchildren say. Leukemia, the success story indirectly comes from my life as a cricketer. Without doing what I did on the cricket field, I would never have had the platform to make the leukemia walks and charity work successful. The impact on leukemia, those walks, the difference is that when we first started 30 years ago, there was a 20% chance of survival for the children with the most common form of leukemia. Now, it's a 94% chance. And that very first walk started all that rolling. We raised enough money to build a Leukemia Research Centre outside Glasgow, and that's where all the monies that we raise now go to beating that awful disease. We've also set up a foundation now so that we can expand and take on other diseases, cry, Batten disease, brittle diabetes in the young, brain tumours. So we are ongoing. Closing in now, the end. I've mentioned some people who inspired me, and I urge the cricketers of today to continue to look to inspire the next generation. Finally, there are two more people I want to pick out. Kenny Barrington. The thing I enjoyed most with Kenny, and I had many tours with him, I never heard him say once, "in my day." A true British bulldog to the last. The saddest day I've ever experienced on a cricket field was when the two teams lined up in Barbados when Kenny had passed away with a massive heart attack that night. Never to be forgotten. And then a man, if he was still alive, he'd be 100 years old this year, John Arlott. All that is good about playing and watching the game. A wonderful man. For the last 10 years of his life, I was as close to him as anybody outside his family. And if you'll bear with me, I'll just give you a couple of examples. John was a creature of habit, and he lived just up the road from me in Alderney. Introduced me to the island, and that's why we bought a place there. And John would be up at 6 o'clock, listen to the Radio 4 news. Shipping report would come on at 9. He'd get a courtesy call from his doctor, and at 9:06, you could set your alarm by it, the phone would ring. Are you there? Yes, John, I'm here. Haven't gone anywhere. Good. What time are you coming up? I said, very shortly, John. Good, and bring your thirst with you. And to this day, I've just come back from the Channel Islands now in Alderney. Every time I go there with my father-in-law, Kath's dad, we always take a very good bottle of red wine down to John's grave, and we go down to St. Anne's and we sit there and we open the bottle, we enjoy it, and then we leave the cork on the grave. And I've been doing that for some time. There's a considerable amount of cork on that grave. Two men with a perspective on cricket that reflected their magnificent perspective on life. I would not have swapped any of it. I respect cricket, and cricket has been good to me. I repeat, it has been a major part of my life. I'm a lucky man. As indeed all of us in this room, we're lucky to have cricket in our lives. Thank you.